Welcome to Pop-Up Camper Pro. I'm your host Eric Smith, and today we're going to go over what to do after the rains. You want to make sure the camper is nice and dry when you put it away for the long haul. Now, invariably when you go camping, it's going to rain, and I hope it does on you. These things are great. The sound of the rain on the canvas is awesome, especially when you're sleeping. It won't get wet inside. You can zip the windows up where the rain's coming in on one side, leave the other ones open. They're perfect. But you got to take care of them after they've been through a rain. Now, don't worry about it letting it dry out before you leave the campsite. If it's wet, it's raining that morning or raining that night, go ahead and tow it home. But after you get home in the next day or two, it's important to pop it back up and let it completely dry out. The party that we went to this weekend, it rained again as soon as we got there. But the camper did great. I had to put it away wet the next morning, so we're going to go ahead and open it up and let it dry out now. The first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the battery. Your pop-up camper has detectors inside it. They're always running if the battery's hooked up. It's important to kill the power to these so your camper battery is healthy when you go to take it out the next time. I'm going to go ahead and take the battery cover off and kill the power to it. I've got the camper leveled side to side, but we do need to make sure it's level front to back. So use our tongue jack, make sure she's level. And then undo all 4 of our roof latches. One thing to mention about the awnings, you have to dry this out too if it got wet. We never used the awning for this trip, so it's perfectly fine. But if you had your awning out and it was a little bit wet, make sure you dry that out as well. Let's raise the roof. On units with glide outs, you want to pull this canvas out. Get that out of the way. It's a good idea to take care of any water that might be on top of the body panels. Okay, pull your first bed out. Holes in. And everybody, notice I have the stepper door closed and locked during this. I always do this during setup too, especially if children are coming along. Because if you let the kids in the camper, you pull those beds out, a lot of times they'll jump right on it and bend the bed rails. Keep the door shut until the beds are out and the bed support poles are in. If it happens to you, I do have bed rail kits available. Bed boot goes over the corners, and now we'll do the glide out. Now, before we get in the camper, we'll want to lower the stabilizers. And I know this has been a hot topic on social media. Should you lower the stabilizers first, then raise the unit, or raise the unit, then lower the stabilizers? The book says A, I always do B. I really don't think it matters. The camper does shake a little bit. You saw it rocking a little bit when I was raising it. I'm doing it pretty quick. So maybe that's what the engineers wanted, just that little bit of play. But as long as the camper is leveled when you raise it, I really don't think this part matters. In 12 years, I've never had anybody call me and say, I lowered my stabilizers first, then raised the roof and broke my lift system. It just doesn't happen. So whatever works for you, it's working for you, keep doing it. Raise your galley. In this model, get your cushions off the floor. Close your converter door that fell open. And start finding your tent poles and putting them up. If you just got a pop-up camper and can't find these poles, check underneath the mattress. Most popular spot for them. Tent support tip goes into the center of the bed bow. You just use the pole to push it right up into position. And repeat for the other bed. This one's going to have 2 tent poles in it. Glide out. And for a bed bow. And for our glide out. We'll let the camper set in this state for a couple hours in the sun here in Maryland. Let it get good and dry. I have all the windows zipped up, all the plastics up, because we had windows up and down while it was raining. So once all that's good and dry, I'll go ahead and open up some windows, pull some air through it, and spot clean the inside, and then put it away. It'll be ready for the next time. So I hope all this was helpful, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and mash that notification bell. and I will see you guys at the campground.